Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Royce Hall and UCLA's 2016 Doctoral Hooding Ceremony. We are pleased to have you join us for this momentous and special occasion. At this time, we ask that you please silence your cell phones. This commencement is being professionally photographed and video recorded. As a matter of public safety, the fire marshal requests that you remain in your seats during the ceremony and not stand in the aisles. You're welcome to use your camera as long as you stay seated and do not block the aisles. After all the candidates have been hooded and their degrees conferred, we ask that you remain in your seats until after the official party, faculty, and graduates have recessed from the hall. At that point, you will be invited to join the graduates for a celebration on the quad outside. Thank you for your cooperation. We will begin the processional in a few minutes, so please take your seats.
Hello. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the 2016 Doctoral Hooding Ceremony. Excuse me, the 79th year that UCLA has been awarding doctoral degrees, and it is the 30th year of the ceremony itself. My name is Alice Mandel, and I'm a doctoral degree candidate in the Department of Near Eastern Languages and Cultures. I'm also a processional marshal for today's ceremony.
And my name is Maria Yefimova, and I'm a doctoral degree candidate in nursing and also processional marshal. We are extremely honored to be here in Royce Hall, one of the defining landmarks of UCLA, to welcome you to the special
770 students have earned their doctorates. This afternoon, half are present to celebrate this major academic achievement.
We also have more than 100 faculty members joining us, including members of academic leadership.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are introducing our Master of Ceremonies. Dr. Jean Block became Chancellor of UCLA in August 2007. As Chief Executive Officer, he oversees the university's three-part mission: education, research, and service. A biologist, he holds faculty appointments in the David Geffen School of Medicine and the College of Letters and Science. A champion of public universities, Chancellor Block has called for UCLA to define for California and for the nation the role of a great public research university in a major urban center in the 21st century.
He has set for UCLA during his administration include academic excellence, diversity, civic engagement, and financial security. Previously, Dr. Block served as Vice President and Provost at the University of Virginia. He leads a research laboratory studying the neurophysiological basis of biological timing. A central focus of the laboratory is age-related changes in sleep and alertness. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Chancellor Jean Block.
Thank you. So doctoral candidates, distinguished guests, colleagues and friends, first, good afternoon, and of course, welcome to UCLA for many of you that are visiting. So 41 years ago, which now seems like a long time, I was in your position about ready to receive my PhD, and I'm sure I had the same feelings you had today. Affection for friends and family, trepidation about the future is over, and pride of accomplishment, and probably pride of accomplishment is probably the major. So you know, at UCLA, we share pride in what you do and what you've accomplished here. Completing a doctoral degree is one of the most difficult challenges in the academic or any world. The transformation of a novice into a professional, an extraordinary amount of work. In doing that, you've performed all a wonderful alchemy, taking raw data, materials, texts, ideas, hunches, and hopes, and turning them into new knowledge. Not always in a linear way, but turning it into new knowledge. You've proven that you can address problems using discipline and rational, and you've added to the core of human understanding, and that's profound. And we're grateful that we've had you here. You now join an academic continuum, which, although shaped by the steady advance of knowledge, is very much focused on what you've newly discovered and what is yet to be known. Building upon the foundation and discoveries made by previous generations of scholars, and this is a long tradition, obviously, of knowledge gaining, you will in turn pass these discoveries on to the world and to successive generations of scholars and innovators. You're part of a remarkable tradition that brings you here today. You and your peers will generate much of the knowledge that will guide and transform the world through the 21st century. We look forward to that transformation. You need alone the extraordinary advances, so many of those driven by PhDs. We're here to celebrate your accomplishment and to bestow the highest of all academic degrees. You've earned and deserve UCLA PhDs or professional doctorates. As we launch you into the upper echelons of a learned community that spans the globe, you should know that we have extraordinary confidence in you. Your rigorous course of study at UCLA has prepared you to meet the challenges for our shared global future. And we look forward with great anticipation to the amazing discoveries that are yet to come, your extraordinary achievements. Please continue to embrace the spirit of service that is a hallmark of UCLA and help ensure that the benefits that you've enjoyed while you're here will be available to students who follow you. Let's pass this tradition forward. You remain part of a UCLA family, and I hope you will continue to stay engaged with us. You're always welcome. Visit us often. But we don't say goodbye. We, like you, will take pride in what you've accomplished here. Truth be told, we'll probably take some of that credit too, as you all become very famous. I want to extend my personal congratulations to each of you and your families and friends who have lent support to your efforts. I'm honored to join you in this celebration. Really, congratulations for an extraordinary accomplishment. Thank you.
Degree candidates, colleagues, honored guests, and friends, as Vice Provost for Graduate Education and Dean of the Graduate Division at UCLA, I'm delighted to welcome all of you to this Doctoral Hooding Ceremony, a long-awaited and wonderful occasion for our graduates, their friends, and their families. We have some very special guests here tonight, and they're here on the platform to join us in this celebration. And I'll ask them to rise as I call their name and remain standing until all three have been announced. They are Yolanda Nunn-Gorman, UC Regent and President of the Alumni Associations of the University of California, Marcelo Ramirez, UC Regent, and D'Artagnan Scorza, former UC Regent. Thank you all for joining us. I would now like to introduce our faculty processional marshals and the deans and faculty participants who will read the candidate names and hood the candidates. Will you please stand as I call your names and remain standing until all have been announced? The faculty processional marshals are Leobardo Estrada, Chair of the Academic Senate, and Carlos Grijalva, Associate Dean of the Graduate Division. The readers of the graduate names will be Carol Goldberg, Vice Chancellor for Academic Personnel, Ann Karagosian, Interim Vice Chancellor for Research, David Rusev, Interim Dean of the School of Arts and Architecture, David Skaberg, Dean of Humanities, and Lois Takahashi, Interim Dean of the Luskin School of Public Affairs. Our first pair of hooding marshals this evening includes Carlos Grijalva, Associate Dean, Graduate Division, and Jayati Murthy, Dean of the Henry Samueli School of Engineering and Applied Science. Our second pair of hooding marshals, Joseph Rudnick, Senior Dean of the UCLA College and Dean of Physical Sciences, Cindy Fan, Vice Provost for International Studies and Global Engagement. Our third pair of hooding marshals, Victoria Sork, Dean of Life Sciences, and Joe Watson, Associate Dean of the Graduate Division. Our fourth pair of hooding marshals, Alessandro Duranti, Dean of Social Sciences, Belinda Tucker, Vice Provost for the Institute of American Cultures, and our fifth and final pair of hooding marshals consists of Timothy Brewer, Vice Provost for Interdisciplinary and Cross-Campus Affairs, and Leobardo Estrada, Chair of the Academic Senate. Thank you all, and you may be seated. I now have the pleasure to acknowledge and tell you about our degree candidate processional marshals who opened today's ceremony. Our first marshal, Alice Helena Mandel, will be awarded her Doctor of Philosophy from Near Eastern Languages and Cultures in the Division of the Humanities. A true Bruin, Alice earned her Bachelor of Arts and Master of Arts degrees here at UCLA in 2006. During her tenure here, Alice has earned numerous awards and honors, most recently the Dissertation Year Fellowship and the David and Noel Friedman Award for Excellence and Creativity in Hebrew Bible Scholarship and a Mellon Pre-Dissertation Grant. Her dissertation, Scribalism and Diplomacy at the Crossroads of Cuneiform Culture, the Sociolinguistics of Canano-Akkadian, examines the unique cuneiform system used in the Southeast Levant during the Late Bronze Age as a diplomatic scribal code used in the context of mediated diplomacy in Egypt. She will begin her new position as assistant professor in the Department of Classical and Ancient Near Eastern Studies in the fall at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Although she's just graduating, she has several publications as well as 3 book projects underway. Her book, Cuneiform Culture and Ancestors of Hebrew, will be an expansion of her dissertation project and is planned for publication. Congratulations. Our second marshal is Maria Yefimova. Today, Maria will be awarded her doctorate from the School of Nursing. Also a Bruin at heart, she earned both her Bachelor of Science degree in 2001 and her Master of Science in 2014 here at UCLA. During her tenure as a doctoral student, she was selected to receive a National Hartford Centers for Gerontological Nursing Excellence Patricia G. Archbold Pre-Doctoral Scholarship, which is a competitive national award for nurses pursuing a PhD in nursing with a focus on gerontological nursing. She has co-authored 5 peer-reviewed papers and an impressive 26 abstracts, presenting her work at the Gerontological Society of America, the Western Institute of Nursing, and California and Geriatrics meetings. Her dissertation, titled Using In-Home Monitoring Technology to Identify Deviations in Daily Routines Preceding Changes in Health Trajectory of Older Adults, studied how low-cost sensors in the home could improve health and independence of older adults by helping nurses intervene before a health incident occurs. Next month, Maria will be starting as a postdoctoral scholar with the National Clinician Scholars Program at UCLA as the VA Scholar, a position that has traditionally been for physicians only, and this year has been expanded to doctorally prepared nurses. Congratulations, Maria. Now, it's a privilege for me to speak with you today. 770 students earning their doctorates this year. That's amazing. To the graduates, on behalf of all the UCLA faculty, including those represented here, I want to express our boundless delight and pride in all you have accomplished at our great university. As teachers, you've inspired your students. As scholars, you have forged new paths and pushed back the frontiers of knowledge and brought distinction to yourselves and to UCLA. To the many friends and family members, welcome. We're so happy that you're here today to celebrate the culmination of your student's graduate career, the conferral of the doctoral degree. Congratulations to all of you. Let's first take this opportunity to thank the many people here who have given our graduates their love and support. Parents, partners, spouses, siblings, children, mentors, friends, and other important people. Your support has taken many forms: financial, emotional, time, and personal sacrifice. May I ask all those being hooded today to please stand, turn around, look to someone who is here for you and say, thank you. And let us all give them a round of applause. Thank you. Please be seated. Now, this is my 5th year as dean, and has become my custom at this time of year. I start sifting through ideas of what I might share with you for just a few minutes. Maybe something about global warming, or this historic election year. Or perhaps I could offer a metaphor relating your doctoral degree journey to a vision in the cave of the three. But in light of last week's events, I set aside my notes. Except for Westwood in 1968, before nearly all of you were born, and maybe some of your parents too, none of us had ever experienced terrifying uncertainty and violence right here on our campus. Tragedy and disbelief that an accomplished student and promising graduate had felt compelled to cut 2 lives short and then take his own. And the profound sadness over the loss of Professor William Klug, who was a dedicated, talented, and beloved professor. In addition to mentoring numerous master's and doctoral students, he served on the UCLA Graduate Council, dedicating his time to improving academic programs and the experiences of graduate students across the campus. And then we saw our community come together. Everyone, faculty, students and staff, friends and family, joined in solidarity to give one another solace and to say, once again, let there be light. Together last week in a somber moment, but today with joy, we celebrate the life of the mind, the drive to create, the passion for discovery, the community of faculty and students engaged together as teachers and scholars, the value of the UCLA family. We are united in our shared pursuits and in our belief that learning, questioning and probing, speaking and writing and performing, challenging and provoking are valuable not only to us, but to our communities and to our society. You've already heard about the accomplishments of two of our outstanding graduates, Alice and Maria. I'd like to tell you about three others who were nominated for that honor of being Student Marshal. First, William Purdy. He's receiving his doctorate in education today. He undertook an analysis of the early history of UCLA from 1919 through 1938 in the context of the then existing private colleges, USC, Pomona, Oxy, and Caltech. There was the 1918 flu pandemic, and also in context, the ambitious real estate developers who planned Westwood and shaped the surrounding neighborhoods. William's work sheds light on UCLA's birth from the Los Angeles State Normal School through our adolescent years as the University of California Southern Branch. And I'll remind you that back in 1923, Charles Lippman, he was the dean of Berkeley's graduate division, told one of our UCLA faculty, and I quote, "They will never, never, never offer graduate work on the Los Angeles campus." Well, here we are, just saying. Congratulations, William. Colin Joseph Gleason is receiving his PhD in geography. He set out to develop a holistic understanding of surface water in the world through fieldwork, satellite remote sensing, and modeling. Colin compiled information about the ways rivers shape and are shaped by the landscape, and used that knowledge to develop a new methodology for estimating river discharge. Colin's work can support better water management in the context of population growth, global industrialization, and climate change. Congratulations, Colin. Ruth Whitney Ellingson is receiving her PhD in psychology. Ruth investigated the factors that promote positive parenting in the face of poverty, child developmental disabilities, and other risk factors. She found that optimism and resilience play key roles in positive parenting, and she now plans to develop and evaluate resources that can help build parenting strengths and thereby improve support and outcomes for children and their families who are facing difficult challenges. Thank you and congratulations, Ruth. Faculty, family members, and friends, more than 300 of our doctoral degree recipients are here today. Each of you has a similar story of exceptional accomplishments, hard-won, and richly deserved. We join here today to both reflect and celebrate. Graduates, I and all my colleagues on the stage and those not here, we're proud of you, of course, but we're also grateful because it's been a privilege to be your teachers and mentors, your coaches and your cheerleaders. We're truly fortunate to have watched and helped you reach this milestone. Now, it's possible there were moments, maybe more than a few, where you felt that much or too much was being asked of you. But you muscled through, you persevered, you met, and you exceeded our expectations. Well done. Bravo, brava. But today, we're going to ask Just one more thing. We ask you to pay it forward. Many of you will go on to careers as faculty or researchers. Others will pursue careers in industry or nonprofits, or become entrepreneurs or artists. And many of you are, as I heard, or will be, moms and dads. Okay? But whatever your path, please keep in mind not only your personal goals and milestones, getting the next grant or getting tenure, your promotion or the next recital, but consider also how you can help those who follow, the students, the colleagues, and children who will look to you for inspiration or professional advice or mentoring. Please take time to be kind, to listen, to guide, or to help in other ways whenever you can, and do so in a spirit of gratitude, not obligation, with the knowledge that for each and every one of us, our true legacy and impact on the world is through those whom we have known, heard, helped, and loved. Graduates, our hearts are filled with joy and hope and love for every one of you. Congratulations from the entire UCLA community. We can't wait to see what you do next. Let there be light. And the moment you've actually been waiting for. At this time, I would like to ask the following members of our platform party to please rise and take your places to assist in the presentation and hooding of the candidates. UC Regent Yolanda Gorman, Vice Chancellor Carol Goldberg, Associate Dean Carlos Grijalva, and Dean Jayathy Murthy. Let's do it.
Doctoral committee chairs and co-chairs and all members of the graduates' doctoral committees, when you hear your graduate's name called, we invite you to rise from your seat and stand in pride while your student is hooded. Right here. Thank you. Maria Yafi Mava. Tiffany Monique Montgomery. Kia Nicole Screen Jeffers. Eden Rose Brower. Allison D'Amato. Bryn Wine-Shiovitz, PhD in Culture and Performance. I'm going to read the degrees, too. Sarah Marie Wilbur, PhD in Culture and Performance. Elizabeth Gonzalez Cardenas, PhD in Education. Jose Luis Serrano Nahera, PhD in History. Alfred Paredo Flores, PhD in History. Carlos Armando Hernandez, PhD in History. Robert Jameson, Management. Thank you. Yuji Sakurai, PhD in Management. Ashley L. Feinsinger, PhD in Philosophy. Jonathan James Lake, PhD in Electrical Engineering. Moise Isaac, PhD in Near Eastern Languages and Cultures. Thank you. Gregory Scott Kubitz, PhD in Economics. Tiago Caruso, PhD in Economics. Thank you. Carlos Armando de Jesus Cantu Garcia, PhD in Economics. Amanda Maichum Nguyen, PhD in Economics. Elizabeth Vasquez, PhD in Education. Hillary Lehman, PhD in Classics. Suzanne Christine Lai, PhD in Classics. Alice Elizabeth Taylor, PhD in Political Science. Cameron Rodriguez, PhD in Bioengineering. Asael Papour, PhD in Electrical Engineering. Alice Mandel, PhD in Near Eastern Languages and Cultures. Andrew James Jewell, PhD in Philosophy. Catherine Lindsay Chambers, PhD in Philosophy. Justin Jennings, PhD in Philosophy. Elsa Beatrice von Scheben, PhD in Urban Planning. Simpson Zhi Zhang, PhD in Economics. Jen Wen Chong, PhD in Economics. Dustin Andrew Bowers, PhD in Linguistics. Mofei Zhao, PhD in Economics. Lin Ye, PhD in Economics. Yang Cao, PhD in Economics. Lei Zhang, PhD in Economics. Andy Wu, PhD in Mechanical Engineering. Saba Kohanim, PhD in Mechanical Engineering. Daniel Patrick Williford, PhD in English. Elizabeth Fehrenbacher, PhD in Public Health. Devin Michael Bunton, PhD in Economics. Marlon Garzo Saria, PhD in Nursing. Omanichi Ko Sami Lee, PhD in Nursing. I tried. Mary Resk Hannah, PhD in nursing. Bianca Gonzalez, PhD in nursing. Avis Ree Ng, PhD in nursing. Dennis William Kuo, PhD in economics. Anastasia Burkovskia, PhD in economics. Rosanna Smart, PhD in economics. Owen Foley Heary, PhD in economics. Carlos Eduardo Hernandez Castillo, PhD in economics. Thank you. Sway Kwok, PhD in economics. Azim Nasruddin Liwala, PhD in bioengineering. Thank you. Hongjiang Xu, PhD in economics. Menghan Shu, PhD in economics. Nolan Michael Warden, PhD in ethnomusicology. Thank you. David Wilson, PhD in ethnomusicology. Taiwana Taylor, PhD in ethnomusicology. Abimbola Naomi Cole Kailuis, PhD in ethnomusicology. Thank you. Andretta Lyle Wilson, PhD in theater and performance studies. Janira Teague, PhD in... Oh. At this time, I would like to ask Interim Dean David Rusev, who will be reading the second group of graduate names, to please rise and approach the lectern. Hooding Marshals Dean Joseph Rudnick and Vice Provost Cindy Fan, please rise for the hooding of the candidates. UC Regent John Perez, Please join Vice Provost and Dean Robin Garrell.
Yu Lu, PhD in Computer Science. Catherine Sarah Willis, PhD in Geography. Anuka Wiley Haddix, French and Francophone Studies, PhD. Anne Goulot-Mueller, PhD in French and Francophone Studies. Reem Bailong, PhD in History. Janelle Rothenberg, PhD in Anthropology. Anat Morville, PhD in History. Laura Ritchie Morgan, PhD in History. Xiao Chun Wu, PhD in History. Qianling Liu, PhD in History. Helen Ellis, PhD in Art History. Xochitl Flores Marcial, PhD in History. Marissa Helen Petru, PhD in History. Megan Claire Dillevue, PhD in Epidemiology. Victoria Lee Ting Sang, PhD in Epidemiology. Priya Bhagwat, PhD in Epidemiology. Mirei Takashima, PhD in Management. Margaret Yi Sun Lee, Social Welfare. Jason Sean Harley, Social Welfare. Winmar Wei, PhD, Education. Lisa Josefina Yamasaki, PhD in Education. Veena Hampapur, PhD in Anthropology. Nazneen Divan, PhD in Gender Studies. Jeffrey Charles Roy, PhD, Ethnomusicology. Anas Alomame, PhD, Architecture. Brian Zhu, PhD, Physics. Marla Ann Schwartz, PhD, Atmospheric and Oceanic Studies. Beatriz Isabel Gallardo Lacorte, PhD, Atmospheric and Oceanic Studies. Gao, PhD, Atmospheric and Oceanic Studies. Ying Zhou, PhD, Atmospheric and Oceanic Studies. Rose Song, PhD, Atmospheric and Oceanic. Omar Angelo Nava, PhD, Atmospheric and Oceanic Sciences. Divuya Gupta, PhD, Computer Science. Sean Litzy, PhD, Physics. Andrea Georgescu, PhD, Physics. Dalit Engelhardt, PhD, Physics. Yingdi Yu, PhD, Computer Sciences. Tuan Vu Lee, PhD, Computer Science. Yu Lind, PhD, Bioengineering. Chelsea Quinn Fleming, PhD, Archaeology. Heidi Michelle Fessler, PhD, Near East Languages and Cultures. Ruth Danelli Karlitz, PhD, Political Science. Jesse Acevedo, PhD, Political Science. Jason James Moore, PhD, Neuroscience. Rana R. Kankan, PhD, Molecular, Cellular, and Integrative Physiology. Michael Selvin Joseph, PhD, Molecular, Cellular, and Integrative Physiology. Simi Uslu, PhD, Economics. David Laszlo Zeek, PhD, Economics. Vicky, PhD, Asian Languages and Cultures. Hana Seyung Lim, PhD, Asian Languages and Cultures. Chiyoka Iwasaki. Ki-Yun Kim, PhD, Asian Languages and Cultures. Lujing Ma Eisenman, PhD, Asian Languages and Cultures. Andrew Lee Sofer, PhD, Mathematics. Geir Abrant, PhD, Mathematics. Melissa Catherine Lynn, PhD, Mathematics. Woodworth, PhD, Mathematics. Kamspars Ozolin, PhD, Indo-European Studies. Ryan Scott Crum, PhD, Mechanical Engineering. Louis C., PhD, Mechanical Engineering. Himad Ree, PhD, Mechanical Engineering. Amber Michelle Rock, PhD, Education. Kafir Mordechai, PhD, Education. Sean Ning Chu, PhD, Geophysics and Space Physics. Shi Yang, PhD, Near East Languages and Cultures. Yi Xiang Meng, PhD, Physics. Ask Interim Vice Chancellor Ann Karagosian to please rise and approach the lectern. Hooding Marshals, Dean Victoria Sork and Associate Dean Joseph Watson, please rise for the hooding of the candidates. UC Regent Marcela Ramirez, please remain where you are.
Nasia Anam, PhD in Comparative Literature. Yu Ting Huang, PhD in Comparative Literature. Asher Warren Davidson, PhD in Physics. Nelson Jen, PhD in Bioengineering. Tyler James Beebe, PhD in Bioengineering. David Adrian Lopez, PhD, Molecular Biology. Elizabeth Brandon Beringer, PhD, Political Science. Beltran Felipe Unduraga, PhD, Political Science. Jacob Roberts Lau, PhD, Gender Studies. PhD, Gender Studies. Pei-Ching Yu, PhD, Electrical Engineering. Joshua Michael Kovitz, PhD, Electrical Engineering. Kasra Valenkinia, PhD, Electrical Engineering. Coleman Tyler Murray, PhD, Mechanical Engineering. James Chi, PhD, Bioengineering. Kent Robert Heberer, PhD, Biomedical Engineering. William Bailey Rosenbaum, PhD, Mathematics. Lauren Sammy, PhD, Computer Science. Konstantinos Sideris, PhD, Computer Science. Xiaowei Ding, PhD, Computer Science. Garagai Klar, PhD, Computer Science. Daniel Ram, PhD, Mathematics. Ji-Min Peng, PhD, Mathematics. Tang Wang, PhD, Mathematics. Jianfeng Lin, PhD, Mathematics. Casey Zhao, PhD, Mathematics. Brad Chunting Liu, PhD, Electrical Engineering. David Borlaug, PhD, Electrical Engineering. Abhishek Manian, PhD, Electrical Engineering. Fareed Shirinafar, PhD, Electrical Engineering. Mustafa Majidpour, PhD, Electrical Engineering. Li Chao Chen, PhD, Electrical Engineering. Yifan Sun, PhD, Electrical Engineering. Jin Chao Li, PhD, Electrical Engineering. Ruth Whitney Ellingson, PhD, Psychology. Alyssa Corey Dalen Cheadle, PhD, Psychology. Benjamin Ryan Nelson, PhD, History. Philip Joseph Wagner, PhD, Film and Television. Sarah Ruth Lillo, PhD, Education. Deborah Ann Weiser, PhD, Geology. Yi Yi, PhD, Statistics. Linda Ania Zantonian, PhD, Statistics. Catherine Rumachan McLaughlin, PhD, Statistics. Wen PhD, Biomedical Engineering. Shang Tai Du, PhD, Biomedical Physics. Bahare Haidarzadeh, PhD, Civil Engineering. Saeed Reza Hafez Nezami, PhD, Civil Engineering. Dukwoo Jun, PhD, Civil Engineering. Amy Sue Fire, PhD, Statistics. Jinwin Se, PhD, Statistics. CNJ Chen, PhD, Statistics. Se-Young Park, PhD, Computer Science. Garrett Lee Mosley, PhD, Bioengineering. Zachary Shankner, PhD, Biology. Samantha Cheng, PhD, Biology. Sarah Elizabeth Simmons, PhD, Biology. Emily Elizabeth Curd, PhD, Biology. Kenneth James Chapin, PhD, Biology. Zhonghua Joanne Ju, PhD, Bioinformatics. Farhad Hormozo Diari, PhD, Computer Science. Lana Sue Martin, PhD, Anthropology. Michael Anthony DeRico, PhD, Musicology. Stephanie Andrea Moore, PhD, Musicology. Melinda Ann Latour O'Brien, PhD, Musicology. Julius Reeder Carlson, PhD, Musicology. Yu Chun Lee, PhD, Political Science. Hovannes Abramian, PhD, Political Science. Kristen Elaine Cow, PhD, Political Science. At this time, I would like to ask Dean David Schaberg to please rise and approach the lectern. Hooding Marshals Dean Alessandro Durante and Vice Provost Belinda Tucker, please rise for the hooding of the candidates. UC Regent D'Artagnan Scorza, please join Vice Provost and Dean Robin Garrell.
Here I am. Thanks. Catherine Genevieve Charles, PhD in English. Junbum Bae, PhD in Political Science. Taylor Fontaine Wally, PhD in English. Shirley Farrow Tung, PhD in English. Cassia Pagan Roth, PhD in History. Daniel William Franken, PhD in History. Zhongtian Li, PhD in Civil Engineering. Yang Liu, PhD in Chemical Engineering. Ben Lee, PhD in Civil Engineering. Zijai Cui, PhD in Mechanical Engineering. Genaro Rodriguez Villa, PhD in Molecular and Medical Pharmacology. Ayung Hong, PhD in Molecular. Kato, PhD in Molecular and Medical Pharmacology. Soyeon Kim, PhD in Applied Linguistics. Andrew Vincent Zusa, PhD in Geology. Carrie Ann Levin, PhD in Political Science. Hi. Stacey Ann Green, PhD in Political Science. Marika Danielle Choppo, PhD in Political Science. Yoon Kyung Kim, PhD in Political Science. Yuting Chen, PhD in Computer Science. Carolyn Ann Bunnell Harris, PhD in History. Daniel Brendan Lynch, PhD in History. Jessica Lynn Harris, PhD in History. Hyosang Kim, PhD in Economics. Keyong Park, PhD in Economics. Junmo Kang, PhD in Economics. Jinwook Her, PhD in Economics. Xuan Ji, PhD in Atmospheric and Oceanic Sciences. William Chen, PhD in Mathematics. Jacqueline Ann Lang, PhD in Mathematics. Megan Kathleen Bartlett, PhD in Biology. Nicole Hardy Robinson, PhD in Italian. Holly Lynette Moyer, PhD in English. Hi. Jillian Adler, PhD in English. Christine Marie Gottlieb, PhD in English. Alexandra Catherine Zobel, PhD in English. Michael Anthony Nicholson, PhD in English. Sarah Frances Burdarf, PhD in English. Alexandra Lauren Milsom, PhD in English. Amanda Evelyn Waldo, PhD in English. Zhi Ren, PhD in Material Science and Engineering. Ming Xia, PhD in Material Science and Engineering. Yuan Xie, PhD in Molecular Cell and Developmental Biology. Jennifer Kelly Lovick, PhD in Molecular Cell and Developmental Biology. Yes. Diana Rigar Smith, PhD in Molecular Cell and Developmental Biology. Helen Elaine Vuong, PhD in Molecular, Cellular, and Integrative Physiology. Christina Vorvis, PhD in Molecular, Cellular, and Integrative Physiology. Catherine Genevieve Zavala, PhD in Molecular, Cell, and Developmental Biology. Amy Helene Fluitt, PhD in Molecular and Medical Pharmacology. Elizabeth Marie Peak, PhD in Molecular Biology. Sahar Salehi, PhD in Cellular and Molecular Pathology. Jorge Rafael Contreras, PhD in Cellular and Molecular Pathology. Norma Iris Rodriguez Malave, PhD in Cellular and Molecular Pathology. Aaron Lola, PhD in Molecular Toxicology. Niyati Mehta Tosani, PhD in Molecular and Medical Pharmacology. Ray Lee, PhD in Molecular and Medical Pharmacology. Jay Dunkelberger, PhD in Physics. Brian Taylor, PhD in Computer Science. Georgios Georgiadis, PhD in computer science. Congratulations to you. William Charles Purdy, PhD in education. Anna Jenny Katarina Blomster, PhD in Germanic languages. Good to see you. Ryan Abel Koons, PhD in ethnomusicology. Renata Redford, PhD in Italian. Abraham Josiah Chappell, PhD in Near Eastern languages and cultures. Jody Ellen Washburn, PhD in Near Eastern languages and cultures. Bradley Robert Larson, PhD in aerospace engineering. Joshua Anthony Hernandez, PhD in mathematics. Clinton Dean Humphrey, PhD in anthropology. Norman Vigil, PhD in applied linguistics. Ashley Michelle Miklos, PhD in applied linguistics. Candice Sun Hong, PhD in molecular and medical pharmacology. Now I'd like to ask Interim Dean Lois Takahashi to please rise and approach the lectern. Hooding Marshals Vice Provost Timothy Brewer and Chair Leobardo Estrada, please rise for the hooding of the candidates. UC Regent D'Artagnan Scorza, please remain where you are.
Joseph David Hargan Calvopina, PhD in molecular cell and developmental biology. Safia Ziad, PhD in molecular cell and developmental biology. Dan Duan, PhD in molecular cell and developmental biology. Melody Pai, PhD in molecular biology. Che Jia Chin, PhD in cellular and molecular pathology. Shebly Mirazarine, PhD in oral biology. Jason Ear, PhD in molecular, cell, and developmental biology. Jared Allen Sewell, PhD in molecular, cell, and developmental biology. Is it live? Jimmy Lee, PhD in biomedical engineering. Jared Liu, PhD in molecular and medical pharmacology. Allison Mika Yorita, PhD in chemical engineering. Fabian Duchoux, PhD in chemical engineering. Paul Hideo Opgenorth, PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology. Jesse Ryan Erickson, PhD in information studies. John Sutton Coy, PhD in English. Renee Lynn Hudson, PhD in English. Kimberly Renee Mack, English. Saken Shurkhanov, PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology. Yong Hun Song, PhD in electrical engineering. John Paul Nealon, PhD in biomedical physics. Kyle L. McMillan, PhD in biomedical physics. Robert John Harris, PhD in biomedical physics. Oh my God, I didn't recognize you. Sorry. Brady Joseph Collins, PhD in urban planning. One word I can't say, urban planning. Surendra Singaram, PhD in chemistry. Colin Joseph Gleason, PhD in geography. Luis Felipe Alvarez Leon, PhD in geography. Cameron Ashraf, PhD in geography. Michael Antos, PhD in geography. Joseph Hu Chong Kao, PhD molecular biology. Lok Kwang Leung, PhD in molecular, cellular, and integrative physiology. Christopher David Sundberg, PhD in human genetics. Audrey Harris, PhD in Hispanic languages and literatures. Julio P. Garcia, his PhD in Hispanic languages and literatures. Chase Wesley Raymond, PhD in sociology. Patrick Michael Riley, PhD in sociology. Aaron J. Dawes, PhD in health policy and management. Ashley Victoria Parks, Doctor of Public Health. Mariana Astorga Almanza, EDD in Education Leadership. Elisa Faye Lohman, DEV in Environmental Science and Engineering. Gloria Chu Young Chongan, DMA in Music. Dean Anderson, DMA in Music. And last but certainly not least, Samuel Zachary Vieira, DMA Music. I, the Chancellor, and all assembled here now have the very special privilege and enormous pleasure, but me personally, here now, the first to address you all by the well-deserved title of Doctor. Doctors of philosophy, education, environmental science and engineering, musical arts, and public health, on behalf of my colleagues in the UCLA faculty and the administration, the Chancellor, I congratulate and commend you on reaching the pinnacle of academic achievement. UCLA takes enormous pride in the work that you have completed here, and we're proud to count each and every one of you among our very distinguished alumni. Your doctorate stands as evidence of your personal dedication to the highest standards of scholarship and intellectual discovery. We hope that your futures will be guided by the same commitment to excellence and public service that shapes our mission here at UCLA. We wish the very best to all of you. Now, those of you upon whom we have just conferred degrees continue a great tradition. On behalf of all the UCLA faculty, I offer our congratulations and best wishes. And before we close, I would ask you to join me in thanking University organist Christoph Bull. We thank you for your creativity. Now, once Dr. Bull begins our recessional, I ask that the audience remain in their seats until the academic procession has passed. Then please join us outside for a champagne reception in honor of our graduates. Thank you, and go Bruins!